Hi everyone, my name is With Love. I'm here to do a reading with you all tonight. Just so you all know, this is for entertainment purposes only. If it resonates with you, take what does, and if it doesn't, leave the rest on the side. So in this read, I have a read called the His and Her read. So what we take a look at is the energy that is in the world, the energy that is shared between him and her. And then with these cards, we take a look at how he looks to the world, how he feels internally, how she feels internally, and how she looks to the world. So in this His and Her read, what we take a look at is basically a conversation between a couple. So I'm going to do 3 rounds of this read. And in each round, we're going to escalate and build on top of the previous energy. So in this round of the His and Her read, what is the energy that is in the world? In the first round of this His and Her energy, what is the energy that is in the world? In the first round of this His and Her read, what is the energy that is in the world? What is the energy that is shared between the two of them? What is the energy that is shared between the two of them? What is the energy that is shared between the two of them? What is the energy that is shared between the two of them? Now in this, we want to know, how does he look to the world? How does he feel internally? How does she feel internally? And how does she look to the world? How does he look to the world? How does he look to the world? How does he feel internally? How does he feel internally? How does she feel internally? How does she feel internally? How does she look to the world? How does she look to the world? So in this first round of the His and Her read, the energy is a broken heart. That's the energy in the world. The energy between them two is resistance. The way he looks to the world is building. The way he feels internally is the 5 of Cups. The way she feels internally is 7 of Staff reverse. And the way she looks to the world is if she's building. So in this first round, what I see is that he's staying busy and building on whatever it is that he has. And she's just becoming a student of whatever it is that she's doing and learning. But the way the world sees them is that they're working through their broken hearts. They're trying not to think about how they feel internally. So there is a resistance between the two of them. It's like they don't want to let go, even though something is telling them to let go, right? There he is, crying over spilled milk and reminiscing over what was left. And the way she feels internally is she would feel as if she was at a distance, but she feels as if she's closer to him. But he's hanging his head as if whatever they have is over. It's like the world around them wants it to be over between them, but they're fighting the urge for it to be over. So in this next round of the his and her read, given everything that I know, what is the energy that is in the world for this second level, or the second round of this his and her read? What is the energy in the world for the second round of this his and her read? Given everything that I know for the first round of this his and her read, what is the energy shared between the two in the second round of this his and her read? What is the energy shared between the two in the second round of this his and her read? Given everything that I know about the first round of this his and her read, in the second round of this his and her read, how is he showing up in the world? How does he feel internally? How does she feel internally? And how is she showing up in the world? How is he showing up in the world? How is he showing up in the world? How is he showing up in the world? How does he feel internally? How does he feel internally? How does she feel internally? How does she feel internally? How is she showing up in the world? How is she showing up in the world? So the energy in the world is envy. The energy between the two of them is balance. The way he looks to the world is a tower moment. The way that he feels internally is building. The way that she looks and feels internally is give and take. And the way that she looks to the world is the Empress. So on this second round of the his and her, the energy that is in the world is the envy, but between them is balance. So the world is envious of whatever it is that these two individuals share together. And in them being envious of what these two individuals share together, the world is perceiving this man as having a moment of going through something, while she is looking like herself in her Empress energy and her feminine energy. Now the balance between the two of them is the fact that he's building and she's giving and taking, right? So in this round, it seems as if the world around them is actually jealous of whatever it is that they share. And since the world is envious of whatever it is that they share, it begs to differ. Is this young man actually having a tower moment? Is he actually having a tower moment? Or is that just the way the world is perceiving him? Another storyline that I get is that there could possibly be jealousy from the man having a tower moment over the Empress being in her feminine energy. And while the world is perceiving this young man as this, and inside he's building on whatever it is that they have going on while she's giving. So he's a teacher building and she's a nurturer giving. So the world could be perceiving them as being jealous, or the man is being jealous. That's the way the world perceives it. However, the relationship between the two of them isn't such. So given everything that I know with the first and second round, I'm going to take a look into the third round. What is the energy in the world in the third round of this his and her read, given everything that I learned about this couple in the first and second round? What is the energy in the world for the third round of this his and her read? What is the energy between the two in the third round of this his and her read, given everything that I have learned in the first and second level of this his and her read? What is the energy between the two in this third level, the third round of this his and her read? What is the energy between the two in the third round of this his and her read? What is the energy between the two in the third round of this his and her read? Given everything that I know about the first and second round of this his and her read, and the third round of this his and her read, how is he looking to the world? How does he feel internally? What does she feel internally? How does she look to the world? How does he look to the world? How does he look to the world? How does he feel internally? How does he feel internally? How does she feel internally? How does she feel internally? How does she look to the world? How does she look to the world? How does she look to the world? This is the energy that is in the world. It is the energy that is shared between the two of them. This is how he looks to the world. This is how he feels internally. This is how she feels internally. And this is the way she looks to the world. So in this, the first round of energy in the world was brokenheartedness. The next round of energy was envy, and the last round of energy was caring connections. So in this, what I feel is that in the first round, where there was the resistance and the brokenheartedness with the way the young man felt internally with the Five of Cups and the way that she presented herself as if she wasn't at a distance, they were both appearing to work through whatever it is that they were going through, right? That brokenhearted energy that was in the world. The next level was the energy that was in the world was envy. So with that, it feels like there was an energy of envy that was trying to sneak upon them. Hence the reason why the young man looked as if he was having a tower moment, like he was gonna have a conniption. But in the third level, it's like he got himself together, right? He got himself together and the world energy came out, which means there was the ending of a cycle and a new beginning of such, which is why the caring connections came out. But in it between them is the hopelessness. So while he's getting over his conniption or his meltdown in a moment, he feels as if he needs to look at things from a different angle, right? And she's internally feeling like a new leaf can be offered into the world. She's looking like, okay, maybe there could be love, right? But this card of helplessness is the feeling of losing control over your circumstances, making you feel like you cannot change the situation. Helplessness reminds you not to give up even in the darkest moments, as a turning point might be hidden within. So in this being the last round of this his and her read, what I'm feeling like is that the helplessness, he has to look at things from a different perspective. And she is looking for new things, right? For each level of everything that they were going through, it's like I feel as though he was busy minding his business, working hard, and she was trying to figure out what was the new thing. So what came out in the first round as being outside of them. This is when I'll change the view. So, okay, this is what we're looking at. So in here we see that there's a broken heart, an envy, and a caring connection, right? And over here we see that both of them were working on something going on outside of them. And then that feeling came internally. Wow, it was like a flip of what was going on internally flipped outside of them, right? So this is where the envy comes in at. But before we get to the envy, we have to look at them in the way that they look to the world. The broken-hearted energy is out in the world, and there's resistance between the two of them. In there being resistance between the two of them, this young man is working hard at whatever it is he's focused on, but internally he feels brokenhearted. She's a student in whatever it is she's working on, and the distance that she felt between whatever it is that she was trying to create, that distance had dissipated. Now, what was happening outside of them went internal, which means they had balance. Once they got over the broken heart, they had balance. So them being brokenhearted gave them resistance, which made them work hard. But with the turn of energy, what was once outside of them went inside of them with how they felt internally. So he wanted to build with her, and she wanted to have a situation of give and take. Now, the fact that envy came up, It's like, where is this envy coming from? This energy of envy is out in the world, which could only be in connection with this tower, which is how he is presenting to the world, while she is in the Empress energy. So is it that this young man is envious of the fact that she's in her Empress energy, and that's causing him to have a tower moment, causing him to have a conniption? But internally they're balanced, which is kind of strange that between the two of them, because remember, this is the energy between the two of them. They're building and in a situation of give and take. Now, what it seems to be is that their relationship may not last, because they were once at a distance. He was in a broken heart, crying over spilled milk, but trying to hold on to whatever it is they had between them. She was once at a distance, but she's no longer at that distance. She unlocked whatever was locked. But she's in a student mode and he's in a building mode. He's financially building himself up to be stable, successful. And this shows that he's already successful while she's just a student, right? So in this, her appearing to be more than just a student, her appearing to be an empress, is causing him to have a tower moment, which is presenting in the world as envy. Because internally, where he must have been brokenhearted over her, he felt like, oh, she must be going through something, which is making him feel like, I'm good, I'm cool, even though they're both in the energy of being brokenhearted and there's resistance between them. He hasn't been focused on that broken heart because he's focused on his money. And what she felt enslaved to, imprisoned to, she's unlocking by becoming a student. And in her becoming a student in this next round, is like that distance being dissipated between them two. He's finding out just how successful she is and who she is, which internally there is a love between them, which goes to the give and take in the building, right? Because they're both in a state of coins, right? Which them having the conversation of the resistance and having the conversation of balance leads them to a caring connection being in the world, but a helplessness being between them. So in the helplessness, it's basically them feeling like they're losing control, but knowing that even in the loss of control, there is something that can come out of it. So internally, they have to look at this from a different perspective and look at what the blessing is that could come out of whatever it is that had happened between them. So in the world after this tower moment, it's like there's an ending and a new beginning. There's a threshold in which this young man must walk through. And she's looking like, I just want love. So this is what the read is between the two of them. An energy of trying to figure out how to get over whatever broken-hearted situation they were once in, and to see if they can build on whatever it was that kept them at a distance. If they can build and give and take on what kept them at a distance, there's a possibility for a breath in a new relationship.